Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. Without you, driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live without you.
Morning, everyone. Hope everyone's good. Hope everyone had a better night's sleep than I did. Terrible night. Just getting my first decent coffee in, and I thought, you know what? We got a big game tonight, and Ange with another one of his press conferences. And before I go to the osteopath, I thought, you know what? I've got an hour to spare, so I might as well come on here. So tonight, AZ. Not going to be an easy game for sure. I mean, I know Dutch league, it's not a big league. Only people really know usually of about 3 teams out there. Feyenoord, PSV and Ajax. But AZ is going to be a tricky game, especially since I don't think we're going to put our full potential team out there. This is where Ange needs to circle the system a bit, but he needs to get this right. I think if we win the next 2 or 3 games, we're through on there. So that would be a big help. That would be a big step towards it. I mean, on AZ side, from what I've been checking up, they've lost 4 games on the trot now. Had a really strong start to their season. But one thing they definitely haven't had a problem with is scoring goals. I mean, they've got 18 and 7 against, and they're 5th place in their league, from what I checked up earlier. And what defence are we going to use? What formation is Ange going to choose? What players is he going to put on that pitch today? I mean, there's options there. There's changes we can make. There is options there. There's things for us to do. Just a big thing before I go round to everyone. Sava, not too well lately. Hope you're doing better now, mate. You'll be back on your feet soon enough, I'm sure. And I'm sure everyone else, the amount of messages you've probably had has probably done you up the wall as well. But big up to you, mate, and hope you get better soon. So, 8 o'clock tonight, AZ. Well, it's going to be, I think it's very obvious who we start as the keeper. And then I just think it's going to get funny from where it goes defence onwards. But the other thing I want to talk about quickly is Ange's recent press conference. He has basically gone and put everything now on his head, 110%. Was it a smart move by him? Now, you know what? I don't know how many people have actually seen the press conference he done. And did you see stubbornness in that? Or did you see a man who's just willing to take it all the way and take responsibility if it don't go right? Is it that he hasn't learned something yet and don't talk too much, mate, because you drop yourself in it? I suppose there's a few questions you can ask for that. But the one I'm going to look at it with, yes, stubborn, but do you know what? Fair play to the fella. That's what a lot of us, I would presume, want a man's man to be like. He's admitted he knew what he was getting himself into. He's admitted he knew everything about the club, how much we haven't won, how it works at the club. So with saying how it works at the club, I'm presuming that he obviously knew how Levy works, how our system works, or how it doesn't work most of the time. And why would he have taken the job otherwise? He's basically said, if we don't win nothing, he's a failure and it's all on him. Talk about give Levy the biggest scapegoat you can. Now, I don't think that was put on him that he had to say that. I just think that he's just that stubborn in his ways and he's that sure of himself, which isn't a bad thing, that he's gone and said that. He's obviously got confidence in himself, but this is where we keep saying the same thing. Is the man going to adapt? And if he does want to win something at Spurs, sure as, my man's going to have to adapt a little bit. But we will see. I mean, after that shocking second half against Brighton, some of the worst man management I've ever seen on a pitch, to what he then goes and does at West Ham, total opposite to it, and it totally worked. This is just where I can't make the man out. I really can't. I mean, I'm Ange out, and it took him 9 months to get me to that figure of mind as such, because I just did not see him adapting in any way. And then I see moments he can, and then I see moments he don't, and he's just back and forth for me. But I like the press conference he done. Man up on him, fair play. He has said if we don't do it, it's on my head. I know what I'm doing. I know what I've let myself in for. I know what the club hasn't won in, he said 14 years, but I think it's about 16, 17 years now. And he basically knows what Levy's like, and he knew what he was getting himself in for. Other statements he made in the past, he picks the players and everything. He has just literally gone and put 110% of this on his head now. Let's just hope it goes right for him, because we all want Spurs to do good. And do you know what? Like I said, that is not a bad attitude to have. Just don't let it be that he's being naive again, because I do think we have seen him be naive. I just hope this is pure confidence with a bit of stubborn there, and he actually thinks he can take us places. So, I'm going to say hello to a couple of people. Like I know, very random show, as I do. And a lot of people be at work, or some people won't even be up this morning. And Eugene, hi everyone, big up to you, mate. Hope you're doing well, fella. And Rich, morning all, morning to you, mate. Scott, hello everyone, morning to you, mate. Hope everything's good for you. And Paul123, big up Dan, come on you Spurs. Yes, big up to you, mate, and come on you Spurs for tonight. It's going to be a very tight game tonight, I think. I think people are definitely going to see, we're going to struggle a bit in a few things. But I'll come to that in a minute. And Barbaric, good morning, Dan. Morning, chat. Morning to you, mate. And Finn, big up, Dan. Big up to you, fella. Sadwell, I won't even try and pronounce that name, mate. Hello, big up, everyone. Big up to you too, mate. And the Spurs, Dan Lewis, big up, Dan. Big up you. Hope your morning's been well. And also Finn, he's definitely putting too much on his shoulder. He is. For me, he's put the full weight on himself now. Like I said 5 minutes ago, he has put it all on his head, all on his shoulders. So what is it they say? Like, die on your own sword or whatever it is. But I suppose if we all dig deeper, we all know where the real problem is with this club. And it is Levy, and it is at the very top. And we know that. But with that one, it is what it is. So we're not going to lose Levy. He's not going to go nowhere. So on Ange, he's put it all on his head now. And good luck to him. We need to definitely win this. And Hamish, good afternoon from Perth, Australia, mate. Good afternoon to you too. And Finn also saying AZ aren't a bad side, but we should be beating them comfortably. And we should be. We should beat this team. Not easily. It's a European game. They have got people who can score goals. They have been scoring goals. But we should be winning games like this. And it does also depend on how he picks the team. Who is he going to actually pick on this one? I mean, I think it's obvious who we go for in goal. I mean, Vicario. We don't really have any other option. I mean, there's no way I want Fraser Forster to start this game. Never in a million years. Never would I want him to start a Spurs game again, if I'm going to tell the truth. On the right-hand side, I think it's written. I think we'll see Archie Gray start this one as the right back, even though he's a centre mid or DM or gets put on the left. I still can't work out where the fella's meant to play. But I think he'll get a full 90 minutes in this one, which the boy will definitely need during his lack of match time in the league. One of my big questions I mean, on the left, I think it's pretty obvious. I think Doji will go there. For me, it's more, who's he going to put in the middle? Is he actually going to start with Dragusin and Davis? Or is he going to start Van de Ven, Romero? Or is he going to go Romero, Davis, or VDV, Dragusin? He's got a couple of options there. But I think this is one where he needs a strong defence there. I mean, I suppose he can even put Levy, wake up. He can even go and put Davis out on the left, which I don't think would be a very smart move if you didn't want to play a Doji. And I know Doji's been terrible lately, but I'd still start him on this one. But who is he going to play in the middle? I mean, I don't know what everyone else here thinks. Will he take that gamble of starting Dragusin and Davis in the middle? I think we're going to see Van de Ven start. I mean, he's in his home country. It's a Dutch club coming against him. We're at home. And I'm sure he's going to know a couple of people there. And I think he will start Dragusin next to him. I don't think it's a bad idea getting Romero off, because he hasn't had the best of games of late either. He hasn't been on form. And maybe a little rest for him wouldn't do no harm. But then you could say the same with Van de Ven. For me, it is a bit of a complicated one on what we actually start with, what he's going to do with. But I think he's going to go Van de Ven, and I think he will go Dragusin next to him. So basically, Vicario, Gray, Dragusin, Van de Ven, and Udogie. I think the back lot is basically set for itself. So just say hello to a few others. What's this? Philly 2 unknown. Are you muted? Muted? No, I don't think so, mate. And Miss Bunny, Daniel, big up to you, lady. And Finn, the Troy Parrott Derby. That is the next bit I was going to bring up with this, mate. I bet you he's looking forward to this one, isn't he? Because if there's ever a team that he wants to go and put one in against to prove a point, it's going to be us. So with that, and do you know what? And if any team it could happen against, it's always known to happen against a team like us, isn't it? But that's what's another thing is going to make the game interesting. That is just going to be another thing that we're all going to be looking at. And Rich, I read an article yesterday saying that Stavely and investors are looking at buying a majority stake in Spurs eventually. I've seen a couple of things going about. That lady, I forgot her bloody name now, the one from Newcastle. She's meant to be interested in it. Others are meant to be interested in it. But what are they going to be interested for? Are they going to be interested to come in and make a proper football team out of us? Or are they just going to come in for the business side of it? For a lot of them, I think it's the business side of it, because we never seem to make any progress on the other side, coming towards a league or a cup even. We just keep ourselves steady. And with the hotels being built and everything else, that is the side that anyone wants to come in for shares, I would think. Because the price of Spurs is just going to go up and up and up. But it's not because of the football. It's going to be purely because of the business side of it. I mean, we're the 8th richest club in the world. And we haven't got a cup to show for it in nearly 17 years. But I do think Levy does want some money into the club, mate. I do think he wants someone to come in and put some money into it. Because of, going up and everything else, it definitely wouldn't do him no harm. But I don't see him wanting to step out anytime soon. But if you're right on what you're saying, buying a majority and that pushed Levy out to the side, you'd have a very happy man sitting here. And I think you'll have a very happy few lot of other Spurs supporters there. But then he's got a lot of people that back him up as well. Levy has got a lot of people who love him at the club. Don't ask me why. They just do. I suppose it's each to your own, whatever turns you on at the end of the day. But no, Daniel Levy, not for me, mate. And again, I'm not going to try and pronounce your name. I just can't do that. I'll bite my tongue off doing it. I'm scared of Werner on left wing tonight. Question is, will Werner even start on the left wing tonight? I'll go to that one in a minute. Do you know what? It just, Ange seems to have a passion for him that he wants to prove that he can make something out of Werner. Werner can't make nothing out of Werner. He's a mess. He's a complete mess of a player. And Ange has got to see that, surely. I mean, if we win the next 2 games in Europe and we're basically through, then start him on every match. If it doesn't really count anything, then start him on every game. But if it's a game that means something, no, Werner, the man's got to go. Why he's even signed him twice, I will never know. But I think only Ange will know that one. And Barbaric saying, Levy must be licking his lips. What a manager to take the heat away. Ange needs better people around him and keep his mouth shut. That is another side you can look at it, mate. That is what I said earlier. I mean, again, fair play on him sitting there, being man enough to do that. But then other people are going to look at it and say, is he just being told to say that? I don't think he was. I think he's old enough, stubborn enough, set in his way enough that he said it and he meant it. So fair play to him for it. But like you say, Levy's just sitting there, and I said it earlier, Levy's sitting there saying, thank you, fella. That is exactly what I needed to take the pressure off my back. And yeah, Levy must be literally licking his lips right now. He must be happy as a pig in shit, because he has taken all the pressure off of him. But that is where it's purely on Ange now. No matter what anyone thinks, he said it himself. And Jimmy Hotspur, big up Dan and chat. Good morning. Morning to you, mate. And Rob, Spurs need a manager who can get to the heat of darkness at the centre of what makes us a soft touch. I see us similar to England. 100%. I've said that enough times, mate. 100%. I felt as an Ange, Aussie recognises the root of the problem. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Who knows? Only Ange knows what goes through his head. And with what you said about England, we are basically, England is the international version of Spurs. We are the club version of England. I mean, if you want to look at it, England are probably the biggest failures in international football out there for their potential and what they are. Yes, they've won a World Cup. How many years ago was that now? And for the teams they've had, the players they've had, the size of our league, they should have won. They should have won at least another Euros by now. And again, England, just known for it, always screw up on the last minute. And Spurs are as far to say as over the past 10, 20 years, we have been probably one of the biggest failures in football. We haven't won nothing. We're the 8th richest club in the world. I know people can say, yes, we got 8 FA Cups in us. We were the first ones to do something in Europe. Mate, that's nearly 100 years ago, for God's sake. We are one of the biggest failures in football, like it or not. For the size of our club, we should be winning things. We should be fighting for that league. We should be getting big, good players in. But that goes off to a different story, mate. But you're 100% right. Until we start winning things, we are just the England. And we do just look like massive failures for how rich the club is, how big the club is, how well supported it is, how much money comes into it. And we win nothing. We'll see what Ange can do with what he said. And Spurs down list, high line worry with Radu and Davis. If they start centre-backs, we'll need to drop back a bit if we play them. Totally agree with you, mate. And Ange has shown that he can drop it back a bit. I mean, they go for the kill straight away. We know that. And if we're playing that with Dragusin and Davis in the middle, that won't be his smartest idea. That's why I think he's going to start Van der Ven and Dragusin. And if we get to a point where we're 3-0 up or whatever, at say 70 minutes or 3-1 up at 70 minutes, I think there's a chance then he takes VDV off, puts Davis or Romero on there. But I think he's got to start with VDV if he wants to play that high line, because otherwise we'll get absolutely cooked. Otherwise we will get destroyed. Because they have got some good attackers. They do score goals. But if we've got Dragusin and Davis sitting on the line, we all know Dragusin isn't slow, but he's like a robot. He can't just turn around and run like Van der Ven. He has to take a whole turn around. And Davis, well, that one just goes without saying. I mean, why he's even at Spurs now, I don't know. He should be done and dusted and gone. But that's another one. And Jimmy Hotspur, this would have been the ideal time to start with Phillips, but of course he's on loan. Yep, another one, mate. But he's not even getting games where he's at, is he, from what I know of? I mean, he's out on loan and he's not getting games either. Same as at least a couple of our young players are starting to see a little bit of time here. I mean, we even see Archie Gray get brought on for 10 minutes. And Finn just saying to Dan List, that's the worry for me as well. Mate, big up. Yep. And Shinrik, they only take advantage of growing revenue, not on field success. Totally agree with you, mate. It just, why would anyone, unless they totally bought Spurs over and they had the attitude of, we want to start winning trophies, we want Spurs to become a big football team. The only one that does make any logic, if Levy's staying in there and in control over it, is that you go in for it for the business side of it purely. I just cannot see someone who wants to win something going and taking, say, 20% of the club and still having Levy as the main man. There'd just be no point to it. It would just defeat the object of what you're doing. And yeah, growing the revenue, not the field success. And Spurs just saying big up to Finn. If Ange plays them, he must drop that high line. Yeah, just common sense. Radu got sent off last time. Exactly, mate. I totally agree with you. And Rich saying, I'd be over the moon to see the back of Levy. Who wouldn't? Well, like I said, there'd be a lot that wouldn't, but I would definitely be one of them. And Mapping, big up to you, mate. Today is the match day. I almost had it forgotten. Fair enough. And Finn saying, agreed, mate. But we know it won't be the game against we won't be the game against Karabakh was the perfect example. Nothing's going to be easy in Europe. But again, games like this, we should be almost expected to be winning. I know you can't take nothing complacent. When you get complacent, that's how you get screwed over big time. Especially when you get complacent, definitely. But we should be going into these games with the confidence of, we can do this. We should be taking these apart. But I suppose when it comes to Spurs, it's all ifs, buts and maybes, isn't it? But we are a big enough club to look at games like this, and we should be winning these games. We should win these next two games and then be safe to go to the next level in Europe and take it up from there. That is what a club of our size should be doing. And what's my happy saying? Did you watch Barcelona last night? No, I didn't, mate. I tried having early night last night, but failed epically. Terrible night's sleep, but didn't watch football last night. And Rinnick saying, "Hi Dan, you good? Big up to you, mate. I'm alright, just terrible night's sleep." And Shin, Werner cannot hit a barn door. Mate, Werner, he couldn't hit himself if he tried. He probably couldn't punch himself up the head. And Miss Bunny saying, "If Amanda and her investors wanted to buy a majority of the stake in Spurs, I wouldn't get too excited about it. And look how long it took to get Newcastle deal through. That's 2 or 3 years minimum." You're quite possibly right there. And again, I wouldn't see her wanting to come in for the football side. I'd see her wanting to come in for the business side and the shares side of it. And Lord Rodney Trotter, big up to you, mate. I hope everything's good for you. Saying morning to everyone. Anthony Clark, AFC, how you doing, mate? Good morning. Jake the Snake. Oh, you good? Do you know what? He used to be one of my favourite wrestlers when I was a kid, Jake Snake Roberts. Him and The Undertaker, they were always my two favourite. When wrestling was good, when you was like 12 years old, 10 years old. That was before you realised it was EastEnders, basically. And Rinnick saying, "Dan, you happy with Tuchel?" No, I'm not. There's a reason to it. Do I care who the England manager is? No, I really couldn't care less. I don't care if he's English. I don't care if he's Scottish. I don't care whether he's from bloody Japan, Australia. I don't care if he's from Nigeria. I don't care if he's from Germany. The list can go on. If he goes and wins something with England, go for gold, mate. I don't care who gets put on there. The only thing I don't like about it is Tuchel would have been the one I would have picked to take over Ange. With his style of play, with his system, and also history he's got in the Premiership, Tuchel would have been one who I would have looked at first if we was to drop Ange anytime soon. Well, that one's not going to happen. But do I care who the England manager is? No, I don't. As long as we win, I don't care about it. I know a lot of people have been saying, how can we have a German as the England manager? Well, what should it matter what culture or country he's from? But that, do you know what? That would just have England written all over it, wouldn't it? We finally win a World Cup or a Euros or something, and it's with a German manager. England written all over it, mate. And Daniel Quez, I can't really take what he takes seriously in press conferences. When he's saying subs don't make an impact on a game, and then the next game brings on a sub at half time to impact a game, contradicting himself. This is exactly what I'm on about. How many times has my man contradicted himself? I mean, even when he sat there and he said blatantly that defence, it ain't a problem. It's all about scoring the goals. And this is where you take in what he said and you think about it. And this is where I struggle to take the man serious. You're 100% right on what you're saying. But with what he's gone and said, like we said earlier, he's put it all on his head now. Man enough to do it, naive enough to do it. Only time will tell with that one. But he has given some weird press conferences and he has spoke too much in quite a few of them. I don't think that one was a good one. Was a good one to put it all on his head. But like we said earlier, Levy must be loving him off right now. And Shin, what you're saying, we was great in the 60s also. Yeah, but again, that's a very long time ago, mate. Very long time ago. And Miss Bunny saying, as an English fans, hype our international team for too much. We should win something with that bloody England team by now. I mean, Southgate had 3 good chances to go and win something with it, and he didn't. And Harish, good morning, sir. The Hotspur Hood, morning to you, mate. Hope you had a good night. And Simon Hill, Jagooson can't play. He's suspended. Is he actually still suspended? Because I thought it was only one match he was suspended for. I mean, someone's going to have to tell me on the side. I didn't think he was still out for tonight. Well, if he's out for tonight, then it's going to have to be VDV and Davis, basically, and unless he starts VDV and Romero. I didn't think Jagooson was suspended for today. I thought he'd already done it, but you might be right, mate. I'm sure someone will tell me in a minute. And Anthony Clark saying Tottenham are not traditional league winning team, more like a cup winning team. Exactly, mate. I've said it 100 times. We've never been a league team. But at one stage, we were known as a cup team, and we actually won cups. Even if it was every 10 years or every 8 years, we were still known as a cup team. Now, what are we known for? Nothing. Just being very rich with a very nice stadium. Well, I want my football club to be known for more than that. And Daniel Coy's just saying that Miss Bunny, do we overhype them? Or the press in this country make them sound like they're world beaters going into a tournament? Mate, the press over here is a fucking nightmare. They will big the team up and the players up to the absolute top, and then as soon as it don't go right, they will crash into the floor. And do you know what? That's a few of what our Spurs fans do. A few of us do. We go and get a player, don't really know much about him, and we will big them up and like they are the next Messi we have signed or the next Ronaldo. And then people start realizing that maybe it's not, or maybe they're not going to get game time or whatever else, and then excuses come out, and then people like me will start questioning it, and then it all goes tits up again. But that's one thing we're very well known for at Spurs, isn't it? Getting a player and then making it out like we just signed the next Paul Gascoigne. But that's who we are, mate. And Shin, we have to win the Europa. Come on, got the strongest team. I thought, well, we're first or second favourites in the to actually win it. Do we have a capability to win it? I think we do. I think we genuinely do. But I think a lot of that is also going to come down to, is there going to be a bit of luck on our side with injuries and how the league's going and how we're going in the other cups? But I think our best chance of Champions League this year would be to actually win the Europa. And wouldn't we all love to do that? Win the Europa and puts us in Champions League. And then if we finish 8th or 9th in the league, I don't think anyone would actually care. Because I know I wouldn't. I'd be more than happy if we just won the League Cup, to tell the truth. I mean, we've got to win something. But I agree. This Europa, I think we can do this. But we're going to need that bit of luck, and we're going to need Ange to manage it properly. And Harsh saying Parrot against Pigeon. That's another one who could start tonight. I mean, I'm going to go to them in a minute when I've read out a couple more. Mark Cook, morning Dan, hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well too, fella. Miss Bunny laughing at what you're saying. And also saying Daniel Coy is probably the press and the media. It always is over here. We have got we've probably got the most horrible press in the world out here when it comes to the football side of it. I mean, we all know our press don't like telling the truth either. We're just as bad as America on that one. But I suppose that goes into different stories as well. And where's the state? And Harry's saying, where's the stadium naming rights investor? That one, he's had options. Levy has had options with that. But I think I can see what he's done. And if he has done it like this, it is quite a smart move what he's done. Now, in America, where we had the NFL coming over here, we're having all the events and everything else, all the boxing that gets watched around the world and everything. Okay, we was known in America. Football was just really starting to come in, or soccer, as they want to call it. I can't stand that word. And but he's kept the stadium as the Tottenham-Hotspur-Stadium. So anyone in America who wanted to go over to England to watch an NFL game, or they're going to watch their club play over here from the TV there, whatever. Where are they playing it at? London. Oh, right. Where they play? What place are they playing at? White Hart Lane. Oh, okay. They wouldn't think nothing of it. Where are they playing it at? The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The word Tottenham Hotspur just goes round and round the world with the events we have there and everything else. For him, I think it was actually a smart bit of business what he done there. I mean, it's easy press in that way, isn't it? Getting the name about. And I think that's why he kept the name of the stadium what it is. And I think he will keep it for that for a while. Didn't he drop that? Get himself in trouble playing with ring now. And I think that's why he done it. Kept the name of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. To put the name about, basically, purely on the press side of it. And Harris is saying, if we are serious, we need to go and get hands after Ange. I don't know, mate. Who do we need to get? And also saying West Ham won Conference League, Leicester's won League and FA Cup. Yeah, but Spurs have won nothing. Exactly, mate. We need to start winning things. But Daniel Coy's, I thought it was only a one-game ban. Yes, so did I. I thought it was only a one-game ban. But again, might be wrong on that one. And Rich is saying an English manager has never won the Premier League. That's shocking. That's very true. Not fussed personally, who the England and where the England manager's from. I agree with you, mate. I mean, what actual good English managers do we have? Like genuinely good English managers. That is one thing we definitely seem to slack on, isn't it? Having an actual good English manager. Because you definitely can't say. I think the last English manager I can think of that was genuinely a good manager, not for England, but a good manager, was probably Harry Redknapp. I really can't think of another good English manager who could go out there and manage a big club. I honestly can't think of any. It's one thing we definitely slack on, isn't it? England does not deliver managers, basically. Everything has always been won over here by a non-English manager. You're right, 100%. And also saying last World of Spurs said he got a one-match ban, and Football London journalist predicted Dragusin in the squad. Yes, I presume it was just a one-match ban then. So yeah, I think you'll start Dragusin with Van der Ven on that one then. And Lokman, we are a money club now. That's all we are, mate. I agree with you. Vindaloo, big up Dan, big up to you too, mate. Hope all's good. And Lord Rodney saying we always overhype them. We always do. It's what England does, and it's what Spurs do. It's who we are, mate. And Vindaloo, big up to the chat. And I'm still not going to try and pronounce your name, mate. I'll bite my bloody tongue off. What's your comment on Porro? Real Madrid and Man City rumours and possibility that alongside Gil Lamela, Money, Archie Gray going to Seville on loan. The only one I really know of is the rumours about Porro. That's definitely a player we don't want to lose. He's definitely one of our best players. I think he's one of our most consistent players. I think he's got it. The only thing that he does slack on overall is defending. But he's not a right back. He's a right wing back. And I'd love to see him as a winger as well. You know, like what they did with Gareth Bale, basically. See what he's got there and think, no, do you know what? We push you up forward, we'll see more out of you. Could I see Real Madrid or Man City going in for him? I honestly don't know. Is he good enough for either of them two? I mean, we know he's good, but that's at Spurs. Is he good enough to go to a City level? Is he good enough to go to a Real Madrid level? I honestly don't know on that one, mate. I don't think I can give an answer. I know there's many other options out there. You know, that's definitely got me thinking that one. Would he go Real? Obviously, he would go, but would they even come for him? I can't see why they would go for Porro. I think there's better options out there. No, I don't see either of them coming in for him, mate. Hopefully, that's just a load of bullshit. That definitely got me thinking, though, that one. I mean, I'd heard it the other day. I think it was mentioned on Stell's one. And yeah, I don't see why a big club like that would need to go for Porro. And Lord Rodney, I'll go back to the player that the Brazil team picked out from 2002. It wasn't Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, and Beckham. It was Nicky Butt. You know what, with Nicky Butt, that was the mad thing. I mean, I've read quite a few autobiographies of players, managers, and that. And a couple of it, I mean, Roy Keane's one was the dog's bollocks. I mean, that's my all-time favourite player, Roy Keane. Used to idolise him even when I played football. Like, used to try and do it like him, always hack someone's legs off. And in Alex Ferguson's autobiography and Gary Neville's, they both state how the big one coming up through the ranks was actually Nicky Butt. He was the top dog coming through it. He was actually more predicted to go further than either of the Nevilles, Beckham, Scholes. Nicky Butt was meant to be the real deal, and then it didn't quite work out for him to the extent that they thought it would. But at Man U, Fergie and Neville, they actually thought he was going to be the main man at Man U, but it never seemed to go that way for him, did it? And James saying, big up, Dan. Hope you're well, mate. Keep up the good work, mate. We'll try, fella. I mean, good work tonight. I'll try and get a decent night's sleep after the bloody game tonight, unless that stresses me out too much. And then Philly 2109. In reality, most of the time, Spurs don't buy the next Gaza. They sign the next Edgy Hawk. They do, mate. And if we win that trophy, it's one of our best seasons ever. If not, apart from winning the league when we did it, probably will be our best season ever. Not one of it, probably will be the best ever. So, right, spoke about the defence. Before I come over to a few other people on the side. Midfield, where do we go for on the midfield? Is he going to play Bergvall? Is he going to play Kulu? Hopefully Kulu gets some time off, but then we can also look at Kulu playing up front on the right. I mean, I think Sarr and Bentancur will definitely start. And then who's he going to start with them? Basuma or Bergvall or Kulusevski? I think this might be another one where he starts Bergvall, but I wouldn't say it's the one I would want him to start Bergvall, because AZ they're going to be a harder team than the ones we've just played. So I think I'd rather he stuck with Kulu there, to tell the truth. Or if he has to put Basuma in, fine. But I'd leave Bergvall on the subs bench for this one, because this one is an important game and it is not going to be one of the easier ones. So really, I'd go for Sarr, Bentancur and Kulu or Basuma, either one of them in midfield. I mean, does anyone think he will actually start Bergvall in the middle? Because I do think that would be a bit of a gamble for this game, because we need this one and get the next one, and then we're through and we can take it easy from there. But yeah, I think he'd go with Sarr, Bentancur and Basuma. And Daniel Coyes is saying, I think no Champions League dropouts going into the Europa definitely favours teams like us now, 100%. I think that's why they also done it as well, to give the cup a bit more momentum as such. Because at one stage the Europa League was just another Mickey Mouse Cup, and now the Europa League, it's nothing to do with the money you get for it. That's pretty much piss poor. It's the fact that you win that, you go into the Champions League. That is what has made the Europa Cup something. And obviously, it's a cup on the side anyway. No two ways about that. But it's the fact that it gets you to the Champions League is why a lot of teams now take it twice as serious. And yeah, with teams not dropping down to us, that's definitely going to do us favours. And I think we were second. I think it was second favourites to win it, first or second. And with Harris saying here, Dan, what would you like to sign in January's transfer window? Mate, right now, I'm not even going to think that far ahead. I mean, we need another defender because we haven't got enough defence back up. We need another left wing back because we haven't got cover there. But now we've signed Spence, re-signed him. Is he going to be the left wing back cover or cover the right? I don't know. At the moment, if anything, I just think we need an out-and-out winger out there that can do the whole job, who can actually pass that ball solid, who can actually take his man on, who can actually get past him, also score goals, also have a good cross on him. Because for me, Johnson, he's done very well lately. Fair play to him for the criticism he got. Do I think he's a great player? No. Do I think he's good? No. I think he's a very average player. Yep, scored a few goals, done brilliant. Big up, well done. Credit to him. He's doing his job. But I think there's significantly better we could go there for. And 50 million we nearly paid for him. Still not a player I would personally call good. But I think, with what you're saying there, Harish, I think we need a left wing back, definitely a defender and a winger. That's what I would go for. And hopefully kick Werner out, but I don't think that'll come either. And Vindaloo, when you have a victory, it creates hope, and we forget who we played and the results we've been getting. Yeah, well, you got to win something first, mate. And Lord Rodney Trotter, players like Butt, Bowie and Letitia got less caps combined than Darius Vassell. Yeah, but Butt was meant to be the main man coming up through the ranks at Man United at his time. And then, yeah, like we said, he just sort of dropped off. The other players sort of overtook him. But Fergie and Gareth Neville, they both looked at him like he was the dog's bollocks, basically. And, yeah, just because Vessel scored a few goals. And James, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is one of the mile games as well. Yeah. And Daniel Coyce saying Lord Rodney. No, that's not true. Nicky Butt nearly got 40 caps. He was like, I mean, keep saying it. He was he's a strange player, that one. I watched him play so many times. I mean, the amount, but he was a strange player. I mean, to be as hyped up as he was by the club and everything, there was definitely something in him. But then you look at the players that the fellow had around him. I mean, he had some world-class talent around him at the same time as well. And Lord Warner, okay, Bohan Letitia. I mean, Letitia, another good player. I mean, I could probably walk faster than the man could run, but some of the skill he had on the ball and the way he could have a shot, he could pass. I thought Letitia was a good player, very underrated. But he was another one who really didn't see much time for England. And Shanrik is saying Dragusin is available. Yep, so I think that's definitely going to be Dragusin and Van der Ven at the back. Definitely go with that one. And Lord Rodney, what are you saying now? We always pick the wrong players and the wrong system. That's England, that's Spurs. We always do seem to do it. And Philly 2109, it's not a master stroke from Levy. It is only the Leach can't find an investor willing to give the club money he wants for the naming rights. New England Patriots play at the same Gillette Stadium. I disagree with you, mate. I think it is more on the business side. I think it's more of it gets the name about worldwide, because I can bet there's been a few who've put the money in for it, and if he's starting to need money that much, over COVID where there was problems and everything, he could have sold the name. Then he could easily sell the stadium rights, the stadium name. But I still think he wants to keep it for the business side, because we're going to start having a lot more events happen at Tottenham. Not just the boxing, you're going to have the NFL's already there. You're going to have that go-kart stuff happening underneath us, Formula One crap, whatever it is they're doing with it. It gives the team, it puts the team's name around the world. So unless we do get a big offer for it, I don't think he's going to accept it, because it's free at the end of the day. Getting the name about is free. And Lord Rodney, we should have played three at the back with wing backs and double pivot and CM and Can just a striker. I've agreed with that for ages, mate. I totally agree with you there. And we played 8 games. 3 of them was 10 men. Lost 1 in 6 months and sit third. But we are convinced that we have lost the title race. Football opinions change through week in, week out, and our media make sure of it. No, I'll agree with that one, mate. But my opinions change when I see consistency. My opinion won't change on a player or a manager or even a club over just 1 or 2 or even 5 good games. I'll slowly start changing my mind when I see 10 games plus consistency. No, you haven't got to win them all, but... And do I see Arsenal winning the league? No, I don't, because I think Man City are just still too good for you. Simple as that. Man City are just too good. They can even afford to lose 3 or 4 players, and they would still be good enough to beat anyone in England and win that league. And Eugene saying 8 million for Porro. Yes, I don't see that much coming in. So again, I wouldn't see him going nowhere. I mean, if we put a price tag on him, he's going to have to be above 60, isn't he? 60, 70 mil. And Daniel Coy saying Lord Rodney, Letitia has admitted himself he probably did not get playing for England side because he admits he was lazy, and those playing for Southampton his entire career affected his chances. Yes, it did. I mean, I remember Man U was interested in him at one point, and he was quite happy where he was. I think he might have been just happy chugging along, doing what he could do. But he was a very good player, skillful player, very good on the ball. And Vindaloo, Dan, if you had Conte coaching this team, where do you think we'd finish this season? 4th, easy. But we don't. I just think that team's written for 3 at the back. But we've had that chat so many times. Well, no, I'll take that back. 4th, easy. I mean, you watch Aston Villa, they are just looking better and better by the game, aren't they? So I'll take that back. I'll go back on that. I think we would definitely be fighting for 4th place. So between 4 and 6. But Aston Villa are just starting to look the real deal, aren't they? They're starting to actually look very good. I mean, their manager, I've always thought he's a good manager anyway. Even when he was at Arsenal, I thought he was a good manager. But Villa are starting to look the real deal. No two ways about it. And you look at the progress they've made in the past 2 years. In 2 years, they've made that progress. I mean, that game they played the other night in the Champions League, they look like they've been playing there for the past 5 years. So, yeah, 4th or 5th I'd see us get. But the easy bit, I'll take that back, mate. No, not easy. And Lord Rodney, what's he saying? I love Kane as well. Great player. Excellent player. Maybe not the best idol for some of the younger people, but I thought he was a brilliant player. That's why I used to focus when I played football, because I started as a goalkeeper, went right back. They took me out of there because I was too much fouls, and I went DM after that, and then just always enjoyed playing there, getting stuck into a game properly. None of this someone slaps you on the side of the head and you hit the floor like a sack of shit. I mean, when I played football, you got a punch in the side of the mouth. So you give one back and the ref would just tell you both to get on with it. But that's what happens when you just play pub league. And Lord Rodney, what you're saying here, but was one of my favourite players as a kid. Never saw but had a bad game. He was a good player. It's just Man U had world class around him. And Mr. Box Office, Alex, how you doing? Hope all good, mate. I agree on this because now it's about managers' systems and their players. So it's all on Ange, 100%, especially with what he said, mate. I think, yeah, Levy must be loving him. And Kiwi Spurs, big up, Dan, big up to you too, mate. And Daniel Coyes, what are you saying here? Bigging up Holland over Solanke the other day, worshipping Nicky Butt as well. I think you picked the wrong club and called Lord Rodney. Big up, mate. I just look at it realistically. If you're good, you're good. You're bad, you're bad. If you've had a great game, you've had a great game, you deserve credit. If you've had a bad game, you deserve the shit for it. If you've been a good manager over your life, you deserve the credit, whatever. I just know that Roy Keane was my favourite player of all time, without a doubt. He just played in the position I liked. He played the way I liked. Roy Keane was my favourite player. I mean, if I was going to say Spurs player, I mean, there's quite a few you can put there. Who was your favourite all-time Spurs player? I mean, there's a few you can think of there. I mean, Klinsmann was good. Everyone loved Gaza. I mean, Teddy Sheringham, I thought was a brilliant player. I did like Berbatov at Spurs. You got Ginola, obviously Ledley King. But do you know what? At this moment, just thinking in this moment, I mean, it's one I could probably easily change next week. I'd say one of my favourite players was Dembele. I thought he was a quality player. Dembele was definitely one of my favourites. And Vindaloo, Alex, big up. Hopefully you're not done tonight. And Lily White, morning, Dan. Hope all's well, mate. Yeah, if we win tonight and I get a decent night's sleep, it will be good, mate. And big up all the chat. Hope you're doing well for yourself anyway, fella. You always give a good review on everything. So, what I'll go to before I've got to go and get ready. So I've got to go see my bloody osteopath and get clicked every which way. Who are we going to play up front? Is Werner going to start on the left or is Mikey Moore going to start? I think that is the big question that everybody is asking, isn't it? Who is going to start out of them two? Is it going to be Werner or Mikey Moore? I don't even have to ask this question. I think we all know the one we want to start is Mikey Moore. But we all know Ange seems to have this thing for Werner. Is it that Werner's got some pictures of him stashed up somewhere? Or is it that he actually does truly think he can make something out of Werner? I don't know, but that man shouldn't even be seeing our subs bench now. But hopefully, he's going to go with Moore on the left wing. This is a hopeful one. Do I think he will? Call it 55-45. I think he will. But I just would not be surprised in any means or manner if he goes and fucking sticks Werner on there. I mean, the other question is now, on the right-hand side, Johnson or Kulu. If Kulu's not playing in the middle, you got options there. I think he'll start Johnson there personally. And then the question is who starts in the middle? Because I don't think he's going to play Son, not unless he really has to. Is Richarlison going to start or is he going to start Solanke? Again, I think we all know we'd rather have in the middle. I mean, Solanke or Son, I'd rather have them on there. And Richarlison, just another player I do not rate at all. But I've got a feeling he's going to start Richarlison in the middle. So that would be Vicario, Gray, Van der Ven, Dragusin, Udoji, Saab, Bentancur, still Basuma or Kulu, but I'm going to go with Basuma on that one. And then I think he's going to start more Richarlison and Johnson. That doesn't seem like a very tasty up front, does it? It's not something that's going to get a few people scared. But Johnson has been on form. He has been scoring goals, and Mikey Moore just looks like he's set for a game. So we can always have the hope on that. It's just who does he put in the middle, and I've just got a funny feeling he's going to start with Richarlison. No, not excited about it, but it's what we've got. And Lord Rodney, what you're saying here, but it's wrong in the press, overhypes the team. Always does, mate. And Eugene, we need to sell Richie and get a goal-scoring striker. That would definitely help as well. But with what you just said there, mate, I think I can see what he tries to do with Solanke, what he wants Solanke to do. I think he wants Solanke to be more of the target man, not so much the out-and-out goal scorer, the way Liverpool used to do it. I mean, because Solanke seems all right on the ball. I haven't really seen him have any cracking shots yet, but he can hold the ball quite well. He gets involved. He gets around the pitch. He's not easy to knock off the ball. So I see that we're playing him as more as a target man than an out-and-out striker. I know it's a striker's position, but the way I look on target man is the one who holds the ball in the middle or just up front. The two wingers to come in or inverted forwards, whatever you want to call them, to come in and put it in the back of the net. And that's what he's looked like he's been doing. So I can see what he wants with Solanke. Then we definitely need two wingers who can definitely put the goals in, don't we, if he's going to do that. But I see him playing as a target man. But today we're going to probably have Richarlison. But yeah, we should sell Richarlison, but who's going to bloody buy him? And Shimrick, what he's saying, the amount of times Seville dropped out of the Champions League and won the fucking Europa, glad they dropped out. Yeah, how many times they won that? They literally won it 3 or 4 times on the trot, wasn't it? Was it 3 or 4? Or was it he won it 4 times with them? I think it was 3 times on the trot they actually won that Europa Cup as well. And Daniel Coyce speaking to Miss Bunny and Lord Rodney, what you saying here? Players playing for the national team and their value goes up. So there's definitely some shady going on. They aren't giving caps to lower club players. And Danny Field, how you doing, mate? Everything's good for you. Lord Rodney Trotter, big up. Lettice was great. He was a good player. Underrated. And Eugene saying, leave it out. Really needs money. Check out the partnership with AMIS. I agree, mate. And Miss Bunny just saying, Daniel Coyce could be wrong, but it just feels like it's a lost spark with how many games we played. And Daniel Field saying, Shane Batty was picked instead of him for England. Yeah, but like what was said earlier, thinking about it, he was a bit lazy in that aspect, and he had chances to go to Man U. He had chances to go to bigger clubs, and he just seemed happy where he was. He knew he was the top dog and just got along with it. But I do think he is an underrated player. And Lord Rodney Trotter saying, one of the league's all-time greats. You can look up to 10 random Lettice goals. 9 will be some of the best you've seen. Yeah, he used to know where to place that ball, without a doubt. And Vindaloo, Miss Bunny, new format creates better games. The way they have changed it all, I do understand it all now. I mean, at first, when they first showed it to me, I looked at that and I was like, what the fuck is that on about? And then my mate explained it to me over the phone when I'm sitting there watching it live, trying to work it out myself. And I called my mate Mike, Liverpool supporter, and he explained it to me down the phone, and it made more sense him explaining it to me down the phone than watching it on the bloody TV. When I was seeing what they do, they totally lost me, especially on the Champions League one. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And when he explained it, it's actually quite simple in its own way. I think it just looks more complicated than it is. I do like the idea of earlier on, you see the big teams play the big teams. I don't like the side of the if we played PSG, we would only play them at their ground. Okay, then we might have Barcelona and it's at our ground. I did always like the idea of you play home and away. But then I do see what they have done for this as well. It's done it to get the big games in earlier. Because otherwise there was always one death trap on there, wasn't there, where there was at least 3 solid teams and maybe a full all right one. And most of the others were 1 or maybe 2 top teams in there, but there was usually one who'd always you'd expect to roll it. So the way they've done it is definitely more interesting on the football side. And Jay saying, hi Dan, you all right, mate? And do you think Udogie needs to be dropped? Yes, I do. I think that's 2 games on the trot now that he has made the same mistake and been turned on. But would this be the game to drop him for? No. Because I'd rather Udogie play there than Davis. But I do think it. But then if we drop Udogie, say, for the next league game, who's going to play there? Is he going to put Spence there? Would he put Davis there? I don't know. This is why I said earlier, I think a left wing back is definitely something we need to buy. Not for cover, but to go and fight for Udogie's place. Because for me, I think he started off really good at Spurs, and I think on the last part of the season, and yeah, I know he had an injury, but I think he's just been going downhill for about 20 games now, slowly getting worse. And like I said, past 2 games, he's got absolutely spun exactly the same way. And Joe just saying, come on, you Spurs. Miss Bunny saying, Vindaloo just feels like a mini Super League to me, to be honest. Exactly that. It's exactly what it is. They are shit scared of this Super League happening, so they've gone and built it the best way they can themselves. You're 100% right there, I think, 110% even. But I still think that Super League is going to come up with another idea. I still think that Super League is going to come up with another idea to try and get teams out to it. But what FIFA done with the Champions League and that UEFA, sorry, when they've done with the Champions League, I think that's exactly what they've basically done to counter the Super League. And Lord Rodney turned down Liverpool, United and Spurs, I believe. Yeah, I know he turned down Spurs and United. I didn't know Letitia turned down Liverpool. And all right, I've got 2 minutes and I've got to go. And Eugene just saying English Premier League is already the Super League. Wouldn't go that far, mate. Not at all. And Miss Bunny saying, and that's why it stinks. And Dan Coy's just saying to Miss Bunny, you're 100% right about the extra games, because it's definitely only for extra TV money, where they were doing that because they could easily have kept it at 6, but added another 2 extra games. Totally agree with her. She's 100% right in what she's saying there. Right, I've got to go because I've got to get ready to go see the bloody osteopath to go click me up. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you somewhere tonight, on possibly on Stealth Show tonight, if he's still doing it, which I'm pretty sure he is, on Tottenham away, on how this game goes. Well, I think 2-1 we can get this. I think it's going to be a trickier game than people think, but I think 2-1 we'll get this, and then hopefully that brings us into a safer place where we need to win the next one, and then we can take it a bit easier in the league from there. So everyone, give us a quick like and subscribe, short and sweet. Thanks a lot. Cheers for watching us, and hope everyone has a good day. And come on, you Spurs.
I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down.